devil landed when he was cast out of heaven. And at that spot, we'll find the entrance to hell.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you another found footage review, and today I'm taking a look at the 2018 found footage film Antrum, the deadliest film ever made. The film is written and directed by David Amito and Michael Lacine, and it stars Nicola Tompkins and Rowan Smith. Right, okay, now this film focuses on a film that was made in the 70s called Antrum. It was supposedly released into a theatre, however it ended up where I think the theatre burnt down, and then the next time people saw it, everybody that saw the film died mysteriously soon after. So it kind of had this reputation for having this curse associated with it, and then all the copies of this film went missing. And this film starts out with almost like a documentary approach to this film. And you've got people on camera talking about this so-called, lost, cursed film, Antrum, the deadliest film ever made, and, this urban legend that goes with it, and you start buying into it and stuff. There's loads of different experts being interviewed, building up this so-called film. And then we learn that the makers of this documentary have found a copy of this conveniently, this film, and once these people have been interviewed and spoke about this film and you learn about its history and its urban legend, you are then invited to sit down and watch this film. And the film focuses on a mother and her son, Aurelie and Nathan, who backpack into the middle of a forest, supposedly to the exact point where the devil was cast out from heaven. And if they dig in this specific location and keep digging, the further they dig, the deeper into hell they get. And all this weird and creepy stuff will then start to happen around them. Right, okay, so what are my thoughts on Antrum, the deadliest film ever made? Now, the concept here sounds really cool, doesn't it? This whole idea of a film that is deadly, basically. If you watch it, there's a good chance you're not going to live because it's got this legend that goes with it where people have died or, cinemas have burnt down or all this kind of stuff. Great idea for a film. And I think this film started off really, really well. I was completely invested in this film at the start because I was like, I wasn't really sure what to expect. I'd heard of this film a few times, and it's been on my watch list, but I'd never really obviously got round to watching it up until now. And the way the film started with this documentary approach, it just drew me right in. It really, really did. And then the film starts, this Antrum, the deadliest film ever made, starts. And while it does look like it's been made in the 70s, and it looks very genuine, and they've made real effort to kind of make it look and feel like it's come from that era, the film itself, Antrum, is just so bizarre and nonsensical that you really do struggle along with it. And that's my major issue with this film, is the first quarter of the film, the documentary style, we needed far more of that. We needed at least half the film to be like documentary style. They really needed to up the fear factor for the fact that when these guys have finished talking about this film that can kill you, you're watching this film, by the way. You're going to be watching this, so you need to watch yourself. And it only partly did its job. We needed so much more of that, at least half of it, because when you actually sit and watch the film, this Antrum film, it goes on too long, and it's just a sequence of bizarre stuff. You know, this mother and son digging. I mean, first of all, why would this mother take her young son to dig at the spot where supposedly Satan went to hell? And if you dig on that spot, you're going to dig further and further into hell. Why would you do that? It's just the whole concept is bizarre. Why you would do that? But okay, let's just accept that that's what they've chosen to do. And then all this bizarre imagery starts coming out, and bizarre things happening around them that don't make any sense. And I guess some of that is the point. I understand that it's all, you know, freaky imagery and controversial imagery and, you know, demonic stuff and weird blokes humping deer corpses, and you know, it's just bizarre and it's infuriating because it's just the Antrum film feels like it's poking you with a stick, but there is nothing of depth or storytelling wise going on in the Antrum film. It goes on for far too long. You start losing focus and you start losing interest. So when some of this, what you could describe as quite incendiary or interesting imagery and what could potentially be scary stuff going off, you've kind of lost, the audience member's been lost in that process. So you've nothing kind of there to keep you invested in watching this Antrum film, other than them at the beginning saying this is a cursed film, watch it if you dare, sort of thing. And that just didn't go on long enough. They needed far more of that to keep building up this film, and then the film needed, I think, a little bit more thought put into it to kind of invest you into that, but also make it feel like you as an audience member are in danger here when you're watching this. You really do need to take care when you're watching this, you know. And that, I think if they'd have nailed that part of it, this would have been a very, very special film. And what they haven't, they've had a massive missed opportunity as far as I'm concerned. I'm always looking for found footage films that try and be different, try and be creative, try and, you know, invest the audience member into the film by using different methods and tactics. And this had a brilliant, brilliant idea. It just executed it incorrectly, and that was really frustrating for me because I was quite excited to watch this, and then when the film started with this documentary approach and they start talking about it, and I started getting that feeling that I know, I could be enjoying this film. You know, I can start feeling a bit cold, thinking, this could be good. You know what I mean? I start getting my little cold fingertips, and I know sometimes that's when a film is doing its job for me, a horror film, because I'm really getting invested in it, and I'm thinking this could be a frightening thing, this, when I'm watching this. And then the Antrum film comes on, and you're still invested for about 5, 10, 15 minutes, and then it just starts getting odd, and the imagery gets a bit odd, and it just kind of loses you because there's no narrative, there's nothing really other than this mother and a son digging a hole consistently, and the further they get, the weirder the imagery gets, I suppose, and the weirder things happen around them. And so, massive missed opportunity. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do think there are still quite a lot of creative ideas in this. It's just like a lot of creative ideas have been thrown in a pot and stirred up, and then just kind of poured out, and no particular order, and doesn't make any sense really. I mean, I'm glad I've checked it out, Antrum. I'm just disappointed because I do think this had a massive amount of potential. So let me know your thoughts if you've seen it, and I will of course be back with plenty more content on the channel very, very soon.